The class set release has transformed Control Warlock. That transformation has come really from two main reasons. Reason number one is going to be because the Warlock received one of the class sets, and then the other reason is because of the meta shift that has been caused by the class set release. Control Warlock feels like it's actually in a pretty good spot. I've definitely been enjoying the deck. Control is an archetype that is not always present in Hearthstone for the last several expansions, but it's always nice to be able to sit back and control them bums, as we sometimes like to do right here on this channel. We've actually also have two different versions of the deck that have been going around, and so we have options here. So taking a look at our Sham trial, I will say also that this absolutely wins on theme as well here for the expansion, simply because of legendary Godfather Kazakis from the new class set. Plot a custom Sham trial. Who hasn't wanted to plot a custom Sham trial? In-game, of course. But just a really fun theme of the card. Little things like that, the little bit of flavor does add quite a bit to my enjoyment of the cards and the deck as well. But taking a closer look at it, you can see that we are still going to be running Godfrey, which is going to mean Unseen Atlas going to be making the deck. And we're still going to be doing Herald things. So we're going to have Deathwing, Ultraxian, the Shrines of Twilight, as well as the Shadow Sworn Disciple. So the cards that have helped to transform this list and make it just a little bit better. In this particular version, 2 copies of Harsh Sentence allows us to slow down our opponent. We're not as concerned about shuffling in the Imp Formants into the deck. It's pretty unlikely that they're actually going to be drawn as we're playing throughout the game. If you get one, it's kind of a bonus. A little bit of healing and a little bit of an extra minion here on the board. But it's really just to slow down your opponent. Minions costing 2 more next turn really hurts a lot of decks. If you're facing a lot of things like Shaman, Z-Shaman specifically, Pirate Warrior, things like that, that are spending cheap minions and putting multiple minions on the board, it just slows them down. Gives us time to be able to find an answer a little bit later on. And then you can see that this particular version is also running Frame Job, new card from the class set. Destroy 2 random enemy minions, discover a minion in the enemy deck to put it on top. So you could potentially put one of your Imp Formants on the top with this, but it's just good removal. Destroy 2 enemy minions, and you have the potential to be able to brick your opponent's top deck, either by giving us a 3/3 with lifesteal, or potentially just giving them a minion that they don't really want for the situation that they find themselves in. And then obviously we're going to be running Godfather Kazakis. I think this is probably one of the best cards in Warlock right now, and it just allows us to do a lot of different things. We can discover a couple of options here, and we also discover how much mana we want to spend on it. So some really good things that we can do here. These are going to look different depending on the game that we're in. You know, if you need cards, if you need a buff on the battlefield to be able to end the game, you know, just a lot of different things that we can do with this. It's an absolutely great card. We're going to keep it in the mulligan, and we're going to choose appropriately based on the situation that we find ourselves in. And then you'll also notice with this deck, 2 copies of Shadow Rounds here. This can actually just allow us to be able to deal with some of those aggressive decks, remove those boards. Thinking about Pirate Warrior, if you're seeing a lot of those, the 1/1s, the 3/1s, Shadow Rounds can just help it clean up that board, not take a bunch of damage. You will notice this particular version of the deck has cut Annihilation as well as the Imp Gang Stooge. So we're not running the Stooges or the Annihilations here, and that allows us to be able to fit in some of these new cards. So this is version 1 of the deck. It has been performing pretty well. And then we have version 2 of the deck. Version 2 is going to still be running 2 copies of Annihilation as well as 2 copies of the Imp Gang Stooge. So that still allows us that 7 or 8 mana swing turn where we're able to get the big body 8/8s with Taunt and Lifesteal, because the Stooge putting them on the bottom. But the deck is still running new cards from the class set. This version, 2 copies of the Harsh Sentence, as I mentioned, just being able to slow down your opponent. And then still going to be running Godfather Kazakis in this version as well. Not totally sure which one is actually better, and it could be one of those things that it's almost like a flavor thing, what you enjoy personally. The stats in the end may end up being really, really similar, and these could be very, very marginal changes to the deck. Now, one thing that I would note here with this version of the deck, with the Annihilations and the Imp Gang Stooges, with the Harsh Sentences, You could actually switch out the Harsh Sentence for 2 copies of Shadow Rounds. Depending on what you're seeing, if you would rather have the board clear from Shadow Rounds versus slowing down your opponent. So it's kind of like, this is proactive. We're going to slow down our opponents, make sure they don't have a big turn next turn. Whereas the Shadow Rounds is reactive. Oh, my opponent went very wide with a small board. I'm going to clean that up with a Shadow Rounds right now. So that could also be a little bit of a playstyle choice, or it could be affected based on what you're seeing in the meta. All of us are playing in our own little pocket meta, and one of the ways that you can give yourself an advantage, even on the deck building screen, is just to have your deck set up for what you're seeing on the ladder and what's going to benefit you the most. Now that we've got the decks covered, we're going to head out onto the ladder, see if we can cause a disturbance. Looks like we're up against Shaman here. I'm going to toss all of this. In the mulligan, we would be keeping Godfather Kazakus. Most likely Shrine of Twilight. Spire of Solitude is oftentimes a good keep as well. And also Cursed Chains tends to be a good keep. We're going to pass all of this. I assume this is going to be Z Shaman. Mug Shaman has been making a comeback. And we have a lot of removal for early game minions if it is Z Shaman. And it's actually going to be Mug Shaman. So, our hand is not going to be great against Mug Shaman here. I'm going to be looking to draw cards and tap. And I'm assuming our opponent is going to be trying to accumulate minions to be able to play when the hero power unlocks. So, as our opponent accumulates resources, we also want to accumulate resources. Next turn could even just be an Unseen Atlas. Turn 5, Spire of Solitude is going to give us a very big minion. That's interesting. Do I need to do anything about this? I don't think so. I mean, Hellfire removes it. I think I can just Unseen Atlas to draw cards. Then I can worry about addressing this or whatever board my opponent has next turn. This is the only minion that they have in hand that they've discovered. Not really worried about taking 3. The one thing that we do want to keep in mind is if our opponent gets a very big board, that they can actually just play the Ascendants, and that can make things fairly difficult for us. If we're worried about taking damage, we can drop Caged Cranium. Could even just drop Shrine of Twilight to get it out on the board, go ahead and get a Herald, draw an additional card. Then on turn 5, we're just going to be playing the Spire of Solitude. I think I like the Shrine of Twilight play here. We'll see how our opponent finishes their turn, but it's going to give us the biggest possible Spire of Solitude, and then when we choose to play Caged Cranium, it will give us the highest health Caged Cranium here as well. We did see, I believe that was 2 animations. 5/5 comes down for our opponent. So the question now would be, do we need to change our play? Taking 8 feels like a lot. I don't really like the idea of playing cards. My Spire of Solitude gets smaller, but if I play the Caged Cranium and Glacial Shard the 5/5, I think it makes my next turn better. Ascendance is 4 mana, so if they played Ascendance, it would only be on 2 minions. That's not incredibly strong. I think we would be okay in that situation. The other thing to keep in mind, when your opponent plays Ascendance, if we get a Cursed Chains and we have a Herald play to be able to go along with it, then we actually can steal the minion from them as well. I think I like the defensive play here. I don't want to take too much damage, so I am going to do exactly what I said with Caged Cranium as well as the Glacial Shard. And then next turn we'll get down the Spire of Solitude. Hopefully we'll be able to remove the 3/3. And the Spire of Solitude will remove the 5/5 for us. We'll see. May have... They do have the Molten Gold here. And they have permanently increased the cost of our life tap as well, which I don't like, but it is what it is. And I think I just go ahead and get down the Spire of Solitude. It is going to remove 1 minion. Hopefully we hit the 5/5, but either way I think we're doing a little bit of removal here. And we will go ahead and punch face. I probably don't want to do this unless I absolutely have to, just because of how expensive it is. The Saboteur For some reason I was thinking that the effect only lasted one turn. It actually lasts the rest of the game. Anything big comes down from our opponent. We have Shrine, Cursed Chains. I'm assuming they would take this trade unless they have another way to remove the 8/3. I'd probably just go ahead and get down the Shrine next turn anyway. I kind of want the card draw. Just go ahead and get the location on the board. But getting more cards in hand is going to be really good, as the Spire of Solitude will open up again on the following turn. And we do still have Shadow Sworn and Cursed Chains as the removal combo that we might be looking for a little bit later. See what our opponent comes up with here. Still have lots of removal for smaller stuff. Shadow Round's probably not going to be very good in this particular matchup. It might even just be like single minion removal, or like remove one, soften up a larger minion. But at 2 mana, it's not going to be totally worthless. And we see a 6/7. Second Cursed Chains. Is it worth it to just use a Cursed Chains on the 6/7? I almost think it is. We have second copy of Cursed Chains. This can be a good Ascendance minion for them as well. I think I kind of like it. We'll see what our top deck is first. Not really a big fan of taking the 6 damage from this. Another Shadow Rounds. I am just going to go ahead and make the play like this and push face here. We'll remove a threat from the board. Give us a little bit of a 3/3 here to go along with it. They may not realize that we have second combo to go along with this. Spire of Solitude will give us a 9/9 after our top deck. It's going to be a way to be able to put pressure on the board. Assuming this swings face, I think you probably take the taunt. Yeah, they take the taunt, and then if I were them, I would take the freeze. That way they could hit face and freeze any kind of big minion that we had. See what our opponent chooses to do here. I think freeze makes a lot of sense because they know that we're going to have a very big minion on the board. They actually take AoE. So you can see different people believe different things. If I go ahead and click here, I get a 10/10. And there's not really anything else in my hand that I want to spend mana on, so I think, unfortunately, my play is just going to be to go ahead and tap. Unseen Atlas, really nice pickup for us, so we will draw additional cards. And Harsh Sentence. So I'm going to click, and I'm just going to go ahead and play the Harsh Sentence, try to slow down my opponent's next turn, make things a little bit more difficult for them. And then you can see we have another Spire of Solitude, so we're going to be able to get additional big minions in hand here. So we have negated Mug's magic for 1 turn, and basically made it impossible, I think, for our opponent to play 2 minions. 1 big minion, we have removal. We also have removal in the form of the Spire. We see the Hex come down, and we saw an animation once again, so we know that there is a spell card that is turned into a minion here. I believe they have only played 1 Frost Elemental. They've played 1 Molten Gold, so they would still have the 2 7/7s with AoE and Lifesteal. We see the Molten Gold, so they have 1 Frost Elemental and 2 Storm Furies. Opponent is pushing face. I think I probably just drain Soul to remove this and get a 10/10 on the board. I think Freeze still makes a lot of sense. Our opponent actually does take Freeze here. That'll be just fine. Shrine of Twilight to draw an additional card. I think I would like to have the Frame Job in hand, I think, just for the removal options. So before drawing, I actually want to get a card out of my hand here. We will do that. Next top deck will be a Frame Job. I'm going to go ahead and get down the Spire, but I'm not going to click it this turn. The minion would be, I guess, frozen anyway. It's going to be like removal for next turn. And I do just want to go ahead and get the Frame Job in hand, so I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to draw last off of the location. And I actually get a second Frame Job. And then at this point, I think I actually just want to get down an additional Herald effect. I work on getting my stuff bigger. I still have one combo in hand. This spends mana. I think it just makes a lot of sense here, and then we'll pass it back to our opponent. The opponent may choose to swing with the weapon and freeze whatever minions we have on the board. I would be just fine with that. I don't care if these two get frozen. If I were them in this situation, I'd probably hold the weapon attack, simply because it doesn't have as much value. And our opponent is probably thinking Ascendance play at some point. They want to get a very nice board, and they want to ascend it. But when they do, we're going to be able to steal the best minion with our little Curse Chains combo. Don't really mind this Ultrax, the Overdraw. I would definitely be interested in getting the Ultraxian down. Yeah, the 4th Herald. We do have Deathwing already in hand. An opponent is going to freeze here. And they do make the Ascendance play. This is a very weak Ascendance play, though. Not sure I mind this at all. I do need to be a little bit careful, though, about how I handle this. Certainly don't want to see, like, a second Ascendance. That's going to give them value. But these are so small, I really don't want to give them that option. I think I actually just Hellfire this. I can go Hellfire and Shadow Rounds. That clears this up. Yeah, I think I can actually clear the entire board here. Hopefully. Head in Shadow Rounds. Hopefully it hits. It does. And I can even like Drain Soul here, Shadow Rounds. Just spends all of my mana and gets a big minion in play. We'll Shadow Rounds here. Hits the clicky clicky. We also got both of our lifesteal minions on the board here as well. That's going to be our turn. Have a discounted Ultraxian. Deathwing in hand. Still have our Cursed Chains to be able to remove a very big threat. And one Ascendance gone. We're also going to be at 10 mana if we just need to play the Deathwing, so I definitely want to get down the Herald. Assuming this is going to be the 7/7 with Lifesteal, it's going to be able to clean up my board quite nicely. I do have Frame Jobs to be able to remove threats. I don't know that I would want to use a Frame Job here. If this survives, I maybe even just take that trade. It would be nice to deal 9 face, though. Frame Job actually just clears this and allows me to play the Ultraxian. Push the damage face. When I play Kazakus, I'm probably just going to spend 7 mana on it as well. So, Frame Job, this just seems like a very straightforward play. I don't believe our opponent has any minions left in their deck, so we will not get that. And I'm going to play this to the right because I want my soldier on the right. I'm going to hit. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and play the Glacial Shard as well, so that this can eat the Glacial Shard and give me a larger minion. And you can see opponent concedes here. I don't know that they would have been able to address this board. I assume they can't. Assuming our board survives, we could have played Kazakus, and if you hit that, give your battlefield +3/+3. It's kind of like a Savage Roar effect to be able to finish off your opponent. So we would have potentially been able to just end the game on the spot the following turn. But with the Deathwing in hand, felt like we were never really in danger here. And a pretty solid game from us. Happy with the way that we played that one. Going to be up against Priest here. We are massively favored against Priest because of the Cursed Chains. Would really like to have a Cursed Chains in my opening hand. Basically, when they play their Soothsayer, we steal it. And it makes a significant portion of what they want to do worse. We have the Cursed Chains, now we just need like a Disciple or a Shrine of Twilight. We're also on the coin with an Unseen Atlas. Unfortunately, our opponent is not playing Honorable Priest. They are playing Dishonorable Priest with Azalina. Might make the game a little bit more challenging, but it's going to feel so good when we win this game. I really enjoy beating Priest. We're going to pass into tap into Atlas, most likely. We've already got our turns planned out, and that's where you just kick back and relax. Don't even have to do a whole lot of thinking here. We do have a prepare card that's been played. If I don't have a Shrine or a Shadowsworn Disciple, I probably want to time a Harsh Sentence to prevent my opponents from being able to get down a Soothsayer that we're just not ready for. They have our Kazakus. That's so good for him. Playing against Priest is just it feels like a lose-lose situation. Like, you win the game and you feel like you lost. You lose the game and you feel like you lost twice. Quite sure what our opponent is doing here. I've always wondered, if you look at, like, they're hovering this card, it's highlighted. It would be the same on our side. I feel like you can... I don't know that it's randomized either. Like, I think they took the 7 mana. I'm just going to go ahead and tap. Play the Unseen Atlas. Hopefully we are going to be hitting. Second Unseen Atlas isn't bad. Shadowsworn Disciple. We'll pass it back. So, assuming this is a Soothsayer, it would be playable now, if they so choose. We would be able to steal it. Our opponent is drawing cards and reducing the cost of minions in hand. And that finishes at the beginning of the next turn. I think I preemptively just Harsh Sentence here. Harsh Sentence, Drain Soul on this. Save the coin. I'll have Spire of Solitude next turn as well. Seems to make sense to me. And I kind of want to dump my hand a little bit so that I can get these other cards out, because I am just going to play the Harsh Sentence for additional draws. We'll pass it back to our opponent here. I wonder, is this going to be the next card that comes out of the overdraw pile, or is it going to be Godfrey? I need to pay attention to this because I need to know. It makes a difference, and I almost think that it's going to be Godfrey that comes out. They reduced the cost of all minions in their hand by 2, so they were still able to play this for only 2, even though the Harsh Sentence was in play. Likely just going to get down our Spire of Solitude, and definitely want to pay attention to the overdraw pile as far as what we get. My hope is that it's Shadowsworn Disciple. It was the first overdrawn card. My fear is that it's going to be the Godfrey. Doesn't change our play this particular turn. And so it's actually the Ultraxian. So Shadowsworn Disciple is on the bottom of the overdrawn pile. This was the most recently overdrawn card. They have the Godfrey effect as well. They got a second copy of Kazakus, man. How can this be the way that this card works? Azalina can create multiple copies of legendaries. I don't think it should work like that. Like, this is not good design. This is a very, very powerful card, and our opponent gets multiple copies as if they had played Chainbreaker Hogger. I mean, I guess because it's a rule breaker, but I honestly... This is the first time I've realized that this could happen. I didn't think that they could... If they're stealing cards from your deck, shouldn't they only be able to get one because I only have one? See the Soothsayer come down. I also noticed they have not played a quest. And I'm in the unfortunate spot that I actually can't just steal this right now. I mean, I can. I can use the coin, remove it with the Ultraxian. It's a very small discount on the Deathwing, but it does allow me to push 10 face. I guess this has to be the play. But I'm not super duper happy about it, and it's because of the way the overdraw pile works. And actually, apparently the overdraw pile is totally random. Apparently the overdraw pile is random because I was not expecting the Shadowsworn Disciple come off next. The word ruin, that kind of ruins my board. That is one ruin gone. We're perfectly fine with that. We're going to get another big minion out next turn. Still have the frame job. They have a couple of imps in their deck. I've not played the second Sham Trial yet. Our opponent is enjoying my theme more than I am. Apparently they made a mistake. Shame concede? Shame concede? Shame concede because you're playing priest? Did they also... I wonder if they also have cursed chains. They may have stolen it. Ah, they lost the Karazhan Sanctum. You don't mind that. Do I just Hellfire here? Hellfire click. What else am I doing with my mana? Harsh Sentence? Just to try to block their play? Maybe I actually save the Harsh Sentence to prevent them from playing a Medivh. So I can go... Probably want to get these into my hand because of the overdraw pile. So I'm just going to go ahead and Hellfire this smaller board. I'll get down the Caged Cranium. And I'm playing everything to the left on purpose here, just in case I need to get like a Shrine of Twilight or, you know, out of Sworn Disciple or whatever that case may look like. I'm going to save the Harsh Sentence, play it on like my turn 9 to try to block a potential Medivh, assuming we have a board. Let's go ahead and tap here. There's going to be a Shrine of Twilight, and I'm going to get the big minion in play. No reason to hold the weapon, the location click for removal. And I just want to pressure my opponent's health total. This could also be a game where, when I eventually draw Kazakus, I would want to go for the give your battlefield 3/3 and take the 7 mana option to be able to play it immediately, assuming I can discover it. Drawing a ton of cards. Do we get a 3/3? We do. I like seeing that. We know our opponent's going to have a Moonwell in hand next turn. And they also have a Drained Soul. Shadow Rounds. And not a whole lot I can do about the Drained Soul. Guess I want to get the Shrine in hand and go ahead and play it. I do still have Shadow Sworn Disciple. Might need my second Cursed Chain soon here as well. So the Shrine will be 3. So I can go like... down the Godfrey. Hopefully it's the Shrine of Twilight. It is. I want to play this on the far right. I'm going to go ahead... hit the clicky on that. And then I think I'm probably just going to... well, I'm going to lose the majority of my board to the Moonwell. I kind of just want to get some stuff out of my hand, I think. Maybe I hold the Great Glacial Shard, because this is guaranteed to die anyway. Maybe not. I actually just want to do this. I'm going to push this damage face. Expecting our opponent to play a 5 mana Moonwell here. It's going to clear up all but 2 minions. But it would leave the biggest minions on the board. Oh, they actually have the Medivh. I forgot, it was in their hand and it got discounted by 2, and they equipped the weapon. So that is not great. And check my deck for Cursed Chains. Spire of Solitude would also be nice. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to block that with a Harsh Sentence. I forgot about the discount. I also had it in hand when they played that discount. Let's see what I can find out of my deck. Do I need to just go ahead and take the Kazakus? Probably want to go ahead, Herald, and draw, I think. So I am going to... I need to make sure I play this on the left. This opens next turn. It's going to put the minion to the right. That'll be important. Do that. I do hit a Spire of Solitude. I mean, Spire just removes this. Or I could freeze it and wait a turn. I'm just going to go ahead and get the minion into play here. Highly unlikely that my board survives. I can look for something with the Cursed Chains here. Kind of assume that our opponent is clearing this board regardless. The Moonwell, oh, it's just so much healing. Like, they play the Moonwell, it clears the board. Really, really hate to see that. This Priest deck is so frustrating. They wouldn't have made it to this position if they hadn't been playing cards from my deck as well. A little bit frustrating. Maybe just a frame job to remove this. Good tap. I mean, I'm going to need Kazakus and Deathwing at some point to be able to win this. Frame job just to remove minions. I do have second frame job, so I spend 5, spend 3 there. Auto round's not really getting it. I'm going to go ahead and take the tap. Play the frame job. We'll see if we can brick our opponent's top deck here. I don't have second Cursed Chains in hand, but maybe Soothsayer, like giving them Soothsayer, they know that we're going to have second Cursed Chains. I think I'm actually just going to give them that. I want to go ahead and get this in hand, and then I'm going to play the Kazakus. I'll let it eat the Kazakus. Going to have to go a little bit fast. I think I've missed multiple times where I wait too long here. I guess I'm going to take the Steel. Wow, none of these are good. I got scammed by my own Kazakus. I guess I'll take the 7 cost. 7 probably was not the correct mana cost to take on this, but that is not great. I was really hoping for the board buff. I guess stealing cards from your opponent's hand can be good here. Opponent has a Deathwing, it's only going to have 1. Oh no, wait, they've Herald 3 times? Oh, come on, game. Why is their Deathwing so good? I don't want to play my own Deathwing just yet. I would like to get Cursed Chains. I got the Cursed Chains. 6 goes face. I don't want to click this just to do that. And I can't click this. 12-12. It's frame job to remove it. I also need to make sure I have room in hand when I go to steal cards from my opponent's hand. So, yeah, I do just Cursed Chains here. It's kind of clean. I wish I had a way to break that weapon, but I'm going to make the choice to just accelerate the game here. So I am going to do this. Go ahead and Cursed Chains on the 12-12. Going to play the Harsh Sentence to try to slow down what they're doing next turn. I think I actually want to save that click. I do just kind of want to get this out of my hand. I should have done that earlier, though. Past turn. So, next turn, it's possible that I might just want to go ahead and play the Sham Trial. Opponent's at 34. They have my frame job. Oh, it's so frustrating playing against this stupid Priest deck. I'm probably going to have to Deathwing because I'm going to need the hero power to start punching them. I mean, if they're attacking me with their hero power, they're also using their weapon, which is probably good for me. So frustrating playing against Priest. So frustrating. I actually don't want a Deathwing here. I don't want to do anything, so go ahead and steal some cards from our opponent's hand. Summon some minions. These are not great. These are really not great. I mean, I will be able to activate the Minesweeper, which I guess is okay. But from this point, I'm actually just going to pass the turn. I feel like I'm probably not winning this game. This is going to be the double lose. Like, we don't win in fatigue. Our opponent has plenty of resources. And, fortunately, things have just kind of not gone very well. We're also emoting. I would like to remind you, Whacker, that the only reason you're in this position because you stole the cards out of my deck. Not cool, by the way. 2 Imp Formants in deck. I think I probably have to just go ahead and get down the Deathwing now. Clear up my opponent's side of the board. And I just kind of need to start killing them at this point. I mean, Hellfire would still clear. I guess I actually am just going to go ahead and Deathwing. Remove the board, we put the 12-12 in play. We're going to shuffle dragons into the deck. And then the other question would be here, I mean, do I even want to put my 10-10 on the board? I kind of have to. I mean, they have another Shadow Word Ruin, but I need to try to set up lethal here. I'm going to do that. And I think I'm just going to go for the big soldier as well. The only way that I'm really going to be able to win this game is if my opponent does not have a way to remove this board right now. Otherwise, I'm totally dependent on random dragons. I mean, Fire Rack is good, but if they can't clear this, I just win. Maybe we sneak one in. Let's see what they come up with here. They control of a minion, and they played a Void Lord. They took the 8-8. The Void Lord is a pain, though. If I can kill the Void Lord, I go Hellfire? No, I have to go Frame Job first. Oh my gosh. I wish I could steal it. I can steal this. If Frame Job hits here, Hellfire, and I win the game. So, Frame Job, if it hits this, Hellfire, and all my damage can go face. I wish this card had Rewind. We win the game. After all that complaining, I actually still just win the game. How do I get away with it? But I still feel like I lost. At least it's not a lose-lose, it's actually a win-lose, or probably a lose-win, to be quite honest. It's just extremely frustrating to play against Thief Priest. But as I said when this game first started, it's gonna feel so good to beat these priests, man. How do you queue up this deck, play 20 to 25 minute games of Hearthstone, and call it fun? Imagine playing this game and losing. Like, I feel like it's a net negative on your entire life. I'm going to play a million minutes Hearthstone game and lose. Trying to scam the entire time, and we actually hit him with a reverse scam. Not even a scam, we won through skilled play. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. If you need me, I'm probably going to be somewhere back there dancing for about the next 10 to 15 minutes because we beat that priest. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you next time.